Hey guys, welcome to day 255 of the Bilinear Plan. Today, we will be reading Job 24 through 27 and Revelation 17. If you need to read more about this plan, visit the High Quality Gospel website with the link in the description of the episode and the podcast. Please leave a like and follow the podcast to stay up to date with new episodes. Now, let's begin with reading Job 24. Why does the Almighty not reserve times for judgment? Why do those who know Him never see His days? The wicked displace boundary markers. They steal a flock and provide pasture for it. They drive away the donkeys owned by the fatherless, and take the widow's ox as collateral. They push the needy off the road. The poor of the land are forced into hiding. Like wild donkeys in the wilderness, the poor go out to their task of foraging for food. The desert provides nourishment for their children. They gather their fodder in the field. They glean in the vineyards of the wicked. Without clothing, they spend the night naked, having no covering against the cold. Drenched by mountain rains, they huddle against the rocks, shelterless. The fatherless infant is snatched from the breast. The nursing child of the poor is seized as collateral. Without clothing, they wander about naked. They carry sheaves, but go hungry. They crush olives in their presses. They tread the wine presses, but go thirsty. From the city, men groan. The mortally wounded cry for help. Yet God pays no attention to this crime. The wicked are those who rebel against the light. They do not recognize its ways or stay on its paths. The murderer rises at dawn to kill the poor and needy, and by night he becomes a thief. The adulterer's eye watches for twilight, thinking, "No eye will see me." And he covers his face. In the dark they break into houses. By day they lock themselves in, never experiencing the light. In the morning it's like darkness to them. Surely they are familiar with the terrors of darkness. They float on the surface of the water. Their section of the land is cursed, so that they will never go to their vineyards. As dry ground and heat snatch away the melted snow, to Sheol steals those who have sinned. The womb forgets them, worms feed on them. They are remembered no more, so injustice is broken like a tree. They prey on the childless woman who is unable to conceive, and do not deal kindly with the widow. Yet God drags away the mighty by His power. When He rises up, they have no assurance of life. He gives them a sense of security, so they can rely on it. But His eyes watch over their ways. They are exalted for a moment, then gone. They are brought low and shriveled up, like everything else. They wither like heads of grain. If this is not true, then who can prove me a liar, and show that my speech is worthless? Then Bildad the Shuhite replied, "Dominion and dread belong to Him, the one who establishes harmony in His heights. Can His troops be numbered? Does His light not shine on everyone? How can a human be justified before God? How can one be born of a woman be pure? If even the moon does not shine, and the stars are not pure in His sight, how much less a human who is a maggot, a son of man who is a worm?" Then Job replied, "How you have helped the powerless and delivered the arm that is weak. How you have counseled the unwise and abundantly provided insight. With whom did you speak these words? Whose breath came out of your mouth? The departed spirits tremble beneath the waters and all that inhabit them. Sheol is naked before God, and Abaddon has no covering. He stretches the northern skies over empty space. He hangs the earth on nothing. He wraps up the water in His clouds, yet the clouds do not burst beneath its weight. He obscures the view of His throne, spreading His cloud over it. He laid out the horizon on the surface of the waters, at the boundary between light and darkness. The pillars that hold up the sky tremble, astounded at His rebuke. By His power He stirred the sea, and by His understanding He crushed Rahab. By His breath the heavens gained their beauty, and His hand pierced the fleeing serpent. These are but fringes of His ways. How faint is the word we hear of Him. Who can understand His mighty thunder?" Job continued his discourse, saying, "As God lives, who has deprived me of justice, and the Almighty who has made me bitter, as long as my breath is still in me, and the breath from God remains in my nostrils, my lips will not speak unjustly, and my tongue will not utter deceit. I will never affirm that you are right. I will maintain my integrity until I die. I will cling to my righteousness and never let go. My conscience will not accuse me as long as I live. May my enemy be like the wicked, and my opponent like the unjust. For what hope does the godless person have when he is cut off, when God takes away his life? Will God hear his cry when distress comes on him? Will he delight in the Almighty? Will he call on God at all times? I will teach you about God's power. I will not conceal what the Almighty has planned. All of you have seen this for yourselves. Why do you keep up this empty talk? This is a wicked man's lot from God, the inheritance the ruthless receive from the Almighty. Even if his children increase, they are destined for the sword. His descendants will never have enough food. Those who survive him will be buried like the plague, yet their widows will not weep for them. Though he piles up silver like dust, and heaps of fine clothing like clay, he may heap it up, but the righteous will wear it, and the innocent will divide up his silver. The house he built is like a moth's cocoon, or a shelter set up by a watchman. He lies down wealthy, but will do so no more. When he opens his eyes, it is gone. Terrors overtake him like a flood. A storm wind sweeps him away at night. An east wind picks him up, and he is gone. It carries him away from his place. It blasts at him without mercy, while he flees desperately from his force. It claps its hands at him, and scoffs at him from its place. Now we read Revelation 17. Then one of the 7 angels, who had the 7 bowls, came and spoke with me. Come, I will show you the judgment of the notorious prostitute who is seated on many waters. The kings of the earth committed sexual immorality with her, and those who live on the earth became drunk on the wine of her sexual immorality. Then he carried me away in the spirit to a wilderness. I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was covered with blasphemous names, and had 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was dressed in purple and scarlet, adorned with gold, jewels, and pearls. She had a golden cup in her hand, filled with everything detestable, and with the impurities of her prostitution. On her forehead was written a name, a mystery: Babylon the Great, the mother of prostitutes, and of the detestable things of the earth. Then I saw that the woman was drunk with the blood of the saints, and with the blood of the witnesses to Jesus. When I saw her, I was greatly astonished. When the angel said to me, Why are you astonished? I will explain to you the mystery of the woman and of the beast, with the 7 heads and the 10 horns that carry her. The beast that you saw was, and is about to come up from the abyss and go to destruction. Those who live on the earth, whose names have not been written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, will be astonished when they see the beast that was, and is to come. This calls for a mind that has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman is seated. There are also 7 kings. 5 have fallen, 1 is, the other has not yet come, and when he comes, he must remain for only a little while. The beast was that was and is itself an 8th king, but it belongs to the 7 and is going to destruction. The 10 horns you saw are 10 kings who have not yet received a kingdom, but they will receive authority as kings with the beast for 1 hour. These have one purpose, and they give their power and authority to the beast. These will make war against the Lamb, but the Lamb will conquer them, because he is Lord of lords and King of kings. Those with him are called chosen and faithful. He also said to me, The waters you saw, where the prostitute was seated, are peoples, multitudes, nations, and languages. The 10 horns you saw and the beast will hate the prostitute. They will make her desolate and naked, devour her flesh, and burn her up with fire. For God has put it into her hearts to carry out this plan by having one purpose, and to give their kingdom to the beast until the words of God are fulfilled. And the woman you saw is the great city that has royal power over the kings of the earth. On day 254, we read of Job's crisis of belief, and in Revelation, the 7 bowls of wrath are poured out. Today in Job outlines the conduct of the wicked. They commit fraud and take advantage of those who are helpless. The wicked only seek after the weak. They have a false sense of security, thinking they are above the law. But in truth, they have to hide in darkness, and their deeds must stay hidden. So, truly, they deserve despair. They deserve to be cursed. On earth it may not be so, but God will have his justice. Job considers the fate of the wicked, and thinks, maybe, their despair won't come on earth. He speculates that God allows them to thrive, and makes them reliant on all their things, so that they will be helpless when faced with adversity or death. His friend then tries to say that God is all-powerful, greater than all humans, and humans, including Job, should not be able to reflect on the glory of God. He is trying to make Job feel inadequate to ask questions and seek answers. But Job challenged his friends, asking if they've ever helped and if their wisdom has ever brought comfort. Job then also praises God for his mighty works, to show that Job understood truly who God was and what he was capable of. In fact, he understood God just as much as his friends, who accused Job of lacking knowledge and wisdom, even when they lack it themselves. In Revelation, we begin with one of the angels discussing a symbolic representation of a great prostitute sitting on a beast. She represents the sins of the earth, essentially the one the evil people of earth worship, not as a god, but their sin. They choose to worship their sins and make them supposedly good. Their desires are the desires of the devil. The beast and the woman are described in careful terms, to be explained later by the angel who brought John. In Scripture, sexual immorality is often used as a parallel for idolatry. Both are gratifying and temporary, but result in shame and ruin. This immoral woman is richly clothed, symbolizing her support and adoration by the world. She is also said to be drunk with the blood of believers. This woman is responsible for untold bloodshed among Christians. As explained later, this woman seems to represent an ungodly religious view, either something new or a corruption of the truth, which spreads worldwide at the time of the tribulation. This striking image causes John to respond in shock and amazement. The angel promises to explain the meaning of these visions. The beast is described using a peculiar phrasing, suggesting that it used to exist, does not now exist, but will exist in the future. Its heads are explained as both a series of mountains and as a group of kings. Some people believe this is a reference to a revived Roman Empire, a government once powerful, then extinct, and finally restored in the end times. The leaders described in this passage will make war on God and experience sound defeat. This religious symbol of Babylon will lose her wealth and status and be torn apart by those who once supported her. Evil will try and fight God, but God, goodness, will ultimately win. Thank you for joining in the reading and understanding of these chapters, and let us all be vigilant in continuing this reading. Please share, like, follow, or whatever you can do to help us reach more people with the Bible reading. Please also check out the High Quality Gospel website for more information and a couple of store items. Thank you, and keep learning.